Let's talk about this song that you may have heard of by Oliver Anthony called Men North of Richmond. This song came out 7 days ago. Currently has 13 million views with 65,000 comments. And I'll tell you a little bit about the song, but I'll just play it for you so you can hear it first in case you haven't.
I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay.
Working overtime hours for bullshit pay. It's like Social Distortion if he was from West Virginia.
It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you.
I want to talk about this because I think there's a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of interesting dynamics here to talk about. First of all, my personal opinion is that this song is kind of cringe, and I'll talk about it in more detail why. I feel like no matter what I say about this song, I feel like everyone is going to be angry at me on both sides of the conversation. So I don't know. I feel like it's a really bad idea for me to talk about this song, but I'm going to do it anyway. So before I get into sort of what happened, I want to read you the lyrics, some of the lyrics, because I think it'll tell you something about it. So this guy is from somewhere in like Southern Virginia, I guess. I don't know Virginia well enough, but he's from somewhere in Virginia. Apparently he's like a farmer that lives off the grid, apparently. And so the lyrics are, I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours of bullshit pay, so I can sit here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me and people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is. Living in the new world with an old soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they just want to control. Want to know what you think, want to know what you do. And they don't think you know, but I know that you do, because your dollar ain't shit and it's taxed to no end because of rich men north of Richmond. The way I interpreted this is that he's sort of, you know, the voice of the blue collar working guy, and he's directing this at, you know, basically DC is how I took this. There's other people who said that this is some sort of like a dog whistle, you know, to the South, because apparently Richmond was like the border between the North and the South. I don't think that's true, because if you actually pay attention to what he has said, I looked into this, and here's what he actually said about his politics. So he did a video where he says, I sit pretty much dead center down the aisle on politics and always have. I remember as a kid the conservatives wanting war and me not understanding that. And I remember a lot of the controversies when the left took office, and it seems like, you know, both sides serve the same master, and that master is not something of any good to the people of this country. So when I saw this kind of making the rounds, I took this as kind of, to me, this felt like a punk song. This to me felt like rich man bad. I mean, and the title of the song like basically is Rich Guy Bad, you know, rich man north of Richmond. Yeah, he's pretty much saying fuck rich people. That's basically what he's saying. And so I was kind of surprised that actually, as you can see from the title here, Oliver Anthony's Men North of Richmond is an instant smash among conservatives, while progressives wonder if he's a plant. I was kind of surprised by this because I saw it getting shared by some like really prominent conservatives. For example, this guy, Matt Walsh, who in my opinion is a total asshole. I can't stand this guy. He said the main reason this song resonates with so many people isn't political. It's because the song is raw and authentic. We are suffocated by artificiality. Everything around us is fake. A guy in the woods pouring his heart over his guitar is real. So Matt Walsh, who he had that movie What Is a Man, which is like, I mean, he's an actual transphobe. I mean, people throw that word around a lot, I think kind of, you know, inappropriately, but Matt Walsh is a legitimate transphobe. He's a super, like, he sucks. Matt Walsh sucks. So I saw he shared it. Also, some other people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's also crazy and sucks. She shared it too. This is the song that Washington, D.C. needs to hear. It is the anthem of forgotten Americans that our government no longer cares about. These are my people, the hardworking good men and women holding up America. I will fight for them every damn day. And this was kind of surprising to me because, to me, my reaction to this song was like, well, I don't really hear like a traditionally conservative message here. To me, this is just a guy complaining. This is more in line with sort of your typical like junior high punk band of just like rich guy bad, politicians bad, America's the worst place, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this is not a conservative message as I recognize it. I thought this was kind of a good reaction to it from National Review. And if you're not familiar, National Review is like a very old school, like conservative magazine that's been around for a long time. This guy, he got a lot of heat for this, but I agree with this. This writer said, so he's quoting the lyrics here, "I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours, bullshit pay." This guy says, "My brother in Christ, you live in the United States of America in 2023. If you're a fit, able-bodied man and you're working overtime hours for bullshit pay, you need to find a new job. There's plenty of them out there, jobs that don't require a college degree, that offer good pay, especially in this tight labor market, and great benefits, especially if you're willing to get your hands dirty by doing things like joining the Navy, turning wrenches, fixing pumps, laying pipe, and 100 other jobs through which American men can still make a great living. If you're the type of guy who's willing to show up on time, every time, work hard while you're on the clock, and learn hard skills, there's a good paying job out there for you. Go find it." Which was sort of my thought as well. And, typically in the past, conservatives have been more about kind of, right or wrong, whether you agree with it or not. I'm not here to debate that. But the message on the right has usually been more about pull yourself up by your bootstraps, don't cry, blah, blah, blah. In any case, I was kind of surprised by that. I'm kind of surprised by the fact that the people on the right were embracing what, to me, is more of kind of a populist message. And like someone said in the chat, that Trump turned everybody into populists. And I agree with that. I agree with this too. This song sounds like a man giving up at an age far too young to give up. That's exactly what I thought too. This to me felt like, for lack of a better word, kind of just whining. It just felt like kind of complaining. So I was kind of surprised to see so much support for it from the right. And really, as my friend Grady Smith said, basically, this song is like the center of this sort of culture war thing that's happening right now. And that's the part that I thought was kind of especially interesting, is that it's not just this song. So if you look at what has been happening over maybe the past year or so, this is a good kind of a good snapshot of it. He's just the latest example of this. Country songs claim the top 3 spots in the Billboard Hot 100 for the first time ever. This is from a couple weeks ago. This is from July. The top 3 country songs. Number 1 is "Try That in a Small Town" by Jason Aldean, which is another one of these like very kind of divisive country songs, which for the record, I think that song is complete fucking cringe. I don't think that it's racist. I think all of that is overblown, but I do think the song is completely fucking cringe and it's dumb. And I think the song sucks. Regardless though, the point is it went to number 1 over, people like Gunna, Travis Scott, Nicki Minaj, Olivia Rodrigo, Jungkook from BTS. Like, it's number 1, right? It's number 1 despite the fact that the media absolutely hates it. Okay. Number 2 is "Last Night" by Morgan Wallen. Morgan Wallen is another one of these people that everybody in the media hates, because a couple years ago, he got caught on like a Ring camera saying the N-word with an A, not with an R. He was drunk and called his friend N-word with an A and apologized for it and said it was stupid, went to rehab. They kind of tried to cancel him, but I think everybody saw that it was a sincere apology on his part, and he's obviously not racist. Nobody in their right mind thinks Morgan Wallen was actually trying to be racist. He just said something stupid. He apologized for it. And as much as the media kind of tries to keep coming for him, clearly, yeah, his music went through the roof. Exactly. So I think with both of these guys, what you saw is that the media tried to cancel them, but all it did was make them more popular. Luke Combs, this is a cover of Tracy Chapman. I don't know that much about Luke Combs. To my knowledge, yeah, Morgan Wallen's fucking great. I think Jason Aldean kind of sucks. This Oliver Anthony guy, I think, is okay, but Morgan Wallen is fucking incredible. His songs are great. And to me, it's part of kind of just this larger thing of country having a moment right now. I feel like the pendulum has shifted a little bit, where I think what we're seeing is that, maybe a lot of these really progressive positions that the media takes are not actually as popular as the media and the people in the music industry would like to think that they are. And again, this is not me saying, whether they should or should, I'm not here to pass judgment on whether these things are right or wrong, but I'm observing that I feel like there's a little bit of a moment here. Another example of that, obviously, like the Bud Light thing. So I'm sure everyone heard about this, but in case you didn't, Bud Light did this influencer campaign with a trans influencer named Dylan Mulvaney in March that everybody hated, which, again, I think my personal opinion is that Dylan Mulvaney is kind of cringe, but the overreaction to this on the right is fucking stupid. I'm like ashamed that people give a shit about this. Like the fact that they did one fucking campaign with a trans person, and you can see Bud Light sales are down 30%. Like they're getting hammered for this shit. Hammered. The kind of people who complain about cancel culture are oftentimes the same kind of people who will cancel Bud Light. Regardless of what you think about it or not, it seems clear that like this is a real kind of swinging of the pendulum. Another example of that is Disney. So attendance at Disney's theme parks has been shockingly lackluster this summer amidst sky-high ticket prices and woke backlash. So basically, Disney has been kind of like taking a stand in favor of the progressive positions, and a lot of people are not liking it. The media likes it, but the media is very liberal. But what I think we're seeing is that people in the real world are not down with this shit. They're not down with it. Right or wrong, they're just not. There's definitely a vibe shift underway. We're seeing a huge pullback on progressive messaging. Many big companies are getting rid of their C-suite DEI execs. Eventually, we'll see the pendulum swing too far the other way and the cycle repeats. Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I mean, I remember, back, with the Tea Party movement and stuff like that, they were all cringe as fuck. The pendulum swings back and forth, and I think the pendulum swung so far left that it's swinging back and people are sick of this shit. And this is not just in country also, because another example of that, I would say in the rock world, is Ronnie Radke. I mean, Ronnie has been going hard on anti-woke stuff in the past couple months. For example, this. And as much as the media absolutely hates it, he's bigger than ever. He's selling out arena tours, okay? The reality is that nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a fuck. Outside of Twitter and outside of like blogs and stuff, nobody gives a shit. You can agree or you can disagree with it, whichever way. Like, I'm not here to tell you how to feel about it, but I think the popularity of this song and Morgan Wallen and Jason Aldean and Ronnie Radke and the decline of Disney and stuff like that, I think is reflective of a larger moment here. And it still doesn't feel healthy. I agree with you. And look, for the record, I cannot stand this culture war stuff. I can't stand it. I think it is incredibly toxic and boring, and I'm fucking tired of it, okay? I am incredibly tired of all this culture war shit. But I think the success of this Oliver Anthony song and some of those other songs just kind of goes to show that that's where we're at right now. This culture war stuff is not going away. It's only getting more intense. At the moment, the pendulum probably is swinging a little bit towards the right, but to me personally, yeah, I agree with this. I'm tired of all this whole left and right crap. Can't we find common ground? I mean, that's where I'm at on it too. And it's also disappointing to me to see, to me, they're flip sides of the same coin. People like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Walsh are just complete fucking clowns with terrible ideas. There's people on the left who are equally fucking giant clowns. And I think what we're seeing is that basically the move to make is that you pick a side and you just absolutely triple down on that. Like, that's the path to success in the current year, right? And what nobody wants to hear is good news. Nobody wants to hear a message about uniting people or, putting our differences aside or anything like that. What everyone wants is to hear that the other side is bad. Yeah, the Tom McDonald method, exactly. Moderates are not popular. That's exactly right. You pick a side and you fucking pander to them nonstop. That's the move. And that's what I think this song is. This Men North of Richmond thing. I think this song is pandering. I think he's a very good, he's a great singer. His voice is very powerful. But I think this song sucks. I think it's pandering. I think it's populist nonsense. I think he's complaining, and I'm not into it. But that's the moment we're at. Basically, the path to success now is to pick a side and you just go hard as fuck on that, right? It's the Trump playbook, basically. I think he broke everybody's brains. Unfortunately, Trump showed everyone that that's the way. this song is dumb, but conservatives are clinging to stuff like this out of desperation. Well, they should stop. You should stop clinging to stuff out of desperation, and you should start finding a way out of the situation. If your life sucks, fucking complaining about it and drinking beer isn't going to help. You know, this honestly just seems like a country guy complaining about a livable wage. Yeah, I just think it's a lot of complaining. I'm not into it, but I will tell you this. The message to take away from this song and the moment right now is that the culture war is not going away. It's only going to intensify. And I think the interesting thing to me is the disconnect between how progressive the music industry and the media is and the basically demonstrated preference that actually there's a lot of people who are not really into that. So I think people in the music industry, especially in the country industry, are going to have to come to terms with that and either like quit, basically quit their jobs, or just come to terms with the fact that a lot of the people in country do not share their politics. So anyway, that's my thought on this song, which I would say is probably the most controversial song of the year. If you're tired of culture wars, well, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but it's not going away anytime soon. And this song, to me, is a good example of that. So that's what I think about it. Laying pipe,